It's a long way to Mukumbura. It's a long way to Joe. It's a long way from your hometown, but you can have yourselves a ball with your muckers. Goodbye, Bulawayo. Don't see says on square. It's a long, long way to Mukumbura, and we're going up there to stir.
After the Great War, France and Britain both found themselves in a dire situation. Humiliated by the Treaty of Versailles, they had a civil war, and their governments had to flee abroad. But despite our allies' situation, Rhodesia was a stable nation. It was as always. We mined diamonds, oppressed black people, and since we had basically no industry, the Black Monday did not really hurt our economy. When the time has come to appoint a new Rhodesian governor, it was decided that the power stays with the Prime Minister. And so Prime Minister Godfrey Higgins, who supported the harshening of the Land Act, stayed in power. And so he harshened it, which resulted in the black natives having even less land than before. Unfortunately for Higgins and his government, the left wing of the UFP has become very discontent with him not appointing any left-wing ministers. Unfortunately for them, even when the general elections came to a close, the left wing was unable to stop Higgins and the right wing of the UFP, because even with their support, the Labour Party still lost the elections. When nothing was really happening, the Rhodesians sent volunteers to the Pacific states of America to help them with their civil war. In the August of 1937, there was an internal election of the UFP. After the Rhodesian Front had managed to win the internal UFP elections, Desmond Ladner Burke became a prime minister. And so he got basically complete control of the country. He renamed the state from South Rhodesia to only Rhodesia, and also changed flag from the British one to a beautiful green and white Rhodesian. After all of that turmoil, it was finally a moment to breathe. But only a simple matters, which Burke handled perfectly. He established free trade to make huge profits out of selling very rich Rhodesian resources. Everybody thought that the good times were on the horizon, but they were completely wrong. When in December 1939, the Republic of South Africa declared war on Rhodesia and Natal, the Rhodesian government was in shambles. The General Staff quickly ordered to move troops from the north to the south. Fortunately for the Rhodesians, South Africans were not ready as well, because they left their border completely empty. So the Rhodesian troops just walked in. They quickly got enemy supply hubs and good defensive positions. The Rhodesian forces did not really have to fight a lot, because there were so many holes in the front that they could just walk in. And so they did. The only time they were basically fighting is when they encircled some divisions. But the Rhodesian blitzkrieg was on their way. All was left to do is to capitulate the enemy government. And so they did. They found a hole in the enemy line and they used it to walk into Cape Town. After that, the South African government capitulated. In the peace deal, Rhodesia got 2 South African provinces and also established a puppet government in Botswana. But it was not the end. Desmond Burke and his government had greater ambitions than this. They wanted to create the Federation of Rhodesia and Nyasaland. And so, in June 1940, Rhodesia began an invasion of Zambia. Rhodesian troops quickly marched into the enemy capital and managed to split enemy forces in two.
H is for the home fires that the folks are keeping bright. O is for the other ranks and officers as well. And D is for the diehards who believe in fighting hell. E is for...
After destroying the enemy encircled divisions, they pushed towards the next biggest city, and quickly conquered the enemy land. After the war, Berke announced the creation of the Federation of Rhodesia and Nyasaland. While the creation of the Federation was certainly a great achievement, in itself it caused a lot of problems, because the Federation in itself was simply unstable. The residents of northern Rhodesia did not really like the idea of the Federation, ruled from Salisbury. And it also had a lot of administrative problems, because as stated earlier, it was a country made up of 3 smaller countries. But after the war, Desmond Berke knew that the region was pretty unstable, so he ordered the invasion of Union Miniere. The country fell apart pretty quickly and was incorporated into the Rhodesian Federation. But the bigger threat was Geringia, with their fascist leader, Hermann Göring. At the start of the war, the Rhodesian army was not doing very well. They made some sizable encirclements, but that was it. But as they widened their conscription law to black people, the manpower problem disappeared, and they deployed more divisions. The most important ones were fast, 4 motorized divisions, which quickly stormed the enemy capital. Next, they played a major role, because they punched through the enemy line and drove to the next one. Thanks to them, they were made some larger encirclements of the enemy forces. They also took the enemy's second biggest city, which caused the capitulation of Geringia. And with Geringia's fall, the peace in Africa was bound to last forever. Just kidding. After the African Wars, Rhodesian Federation got itself dragged into the Second World War. Fortunately for them, the conflict was nearing to an end. But their troops were sent to Spain in order to capitulate the syndicalist Portugal. And they did their job perfectly fine. Fast motorized divisions quickly destroyed the enemy lines and captured the coastline around Portugal, encircling a lot of syndicalist divisions. After the quick campaign in Portugal, the Rhodesian military was sent to Italy, and as always, their fighting experience was irreplaceable. They quickly cleared a beachhead for their allies and captured some major cities, which caused the Third International to capitulate. The Rhodesian Federation did not really get any land from this war, but fortunately for her allies, got full control of the British Isles, and the French exiles regained control of the southern part of their country. But France was not really happy about her borders. So after some time of peace, there was another world war, the third one. It was a great opportunity for Rhodesia. They quickly captured Kenya and Uganda, and also they completely destroyed the Central American Republic. So they had managed to basically secure completely Central Africa under their rule. They did it in order to help the French in Morocco, but since there were no opportunities for any pushes, the Rhodesian elite forces withdrew from Morocco and got relocated to Europe. And it was a perfect call, because they quickly managed to cut the German supplies in France. After doing that, they decided to help clean up the encircled divisions. After completely wiping out the French coastline of the German troops, Rhodesian forces once again tried to encircle a huge number of enemy troops in Belgium, but unfortunately, due to supply problems, they failed with their offensive. So instead of trying to attack in Belgium, they moved to the German-French border. And it was the ideal plan, because after some failed attempts, with the help of our Air Force, Rhodesian motorized divisions have managed to break through the enemy fortifications. They once again encircled a few of the enemy divisions, and after doing that, they quickly captured some enemy supply hubs along the way. And with these supply hubs, they drove to Wilhelmshaven in order to encircle the entire Netherlands. And so they did. And after wiping out the German troops and completely liberating the Netherlands and Belgium, the Reichspakt armies completely fell apart, and the Entente's troops just pushed on all fronts Berlin, which caused the capitulation of the Reichspakt and Germany. And with these beautiful borders, under leadership of new, ambitious and young leader Ian Smith, the Federation of Rhodesia and Nyasaland prospers very well. Because of their very well maintained military, they are a regional superpower and can very well defend their borders. And their economy is also flourishing, because of large industrial complexes and very vast amount of resources located in this tiny country. So, I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in the next one.